In this lesson video, I'm most interested in showing you how to add and subtract integers without using a number line. How to add and subtract integers without using a number line. Now, there are certain things that you need to understand in order for you to add or subtract integers without using a number line. So, what are those things that you need to know? The following, okay? Note the following. I have written them down so that you can pause the video and also write them down so you don't, once you forget, you can just have a look on what you have written down and remember. Number one concept, to add integers that have the same sign, keep the same sign and add the numbers together. So if the integers have the same sign, for example, we say positive 1 plus 1, the sign is the same, so keep the sign which is positive and add the numbers together, which is going to be positive 2. We move on to the second point, to add integers with different signs. Keep the sign of the largest number and subtract the smallest number from the largest. This point is very important because a number of pupils find it difficult to answer questions, especially in the examination when they are brought. For example, when you say negative 2 plus 1, or we will change negative 2 plus 1, keep the sign of a big number. The sign of a big number is negative, but the sign of a smaller number is positive. So what do? You keep the sign of a big number and subtract the smallest from the largest. So we are going to say negative 2, we keep the sign and subtract 1 minus 2 minus 1, which is 1. So your final answer will be negative 1. The last point is to subtract an integer, add its opposite number. Now let's look at the examples of these. How can we put these? Remember to make sure that these points are mastered. Okay, these points are mastered because they are of great importance if you are going to pass any kind of an examination that will test you on integers. Now let's look at few examples. Few examples that will apply the concepts which are on top. Number one, we are simply saying find. So let's just say find A, 14 plus 17. B, let's find B. We are simply saying negative 5 plus, open brackets, negative 17 plus negative 3. Okay, so these kind of questions, how can they be solved? How can we solve these two questions? By using the two concepts on top. So the first thing you should understand, let's try to add another one so that it can show a bit of difference. So let's say C, we are going to say 5 plus 22, negative 22. Solutions. In order for us to solve these questions, we need to know these concepts here. So we start with number one, which simply says 14 plus 17. 14 plus 17 looks to be so simple. Yes, looks so simple, but there's a concept we need to apply. Okay, there's a concept we need to apply. What concept is that? To add integers that have the same sign, keep the sign and add the same sign and add the numbers together. So we're going to keep the sign. These signs are, if they don't write anything, you see this is 14 and this side they didn't show any sign. Just know that it is the positive. There's an invisible positive this side. So we are just going to keep the same sign and add the numbers, which is going to be positive. We keep the same sign, which is plus. Then we add the two numbers, which is 14 plus 17, which will give us what will be our final answer. When we add the two, we are going to get positive 31. Okay, so this is how you do this kind of work. It means that you are done with integers. Then we move on to the second question. B, negative 5 plus, open brackets, negative 17, close brackets, plus, open brackets, negative 3, close brackets. Okay, so in this question, you have to have the knowledge. What knowledge should you have? These are the following. You need to know the following. Let me just write it here. You need to know this concept. Positive times positive, the answer is always positive. Negative times negative, the answer is always positive. But negative times positive, the answer is always negative. Then we have another concept we can still apply and say positive times negative, the answer will always be negative. Now, to put brackets in this, we can simply say positive, open brackets means multiplication as well. We have positive, again we have negative, open brackets, negative, we have positive, negative, open bracket, positive is equal to negative, and positive, open bracket, negative is equal to negative. So this, my dear ones, this, if you know this concept, this part you need to remember, master these concepts here. If you master them, then integers will be very simple. But if you don't know these, integers will be complicated. Now when you look at this question, there's something which is more like of this. For instance, we are simply talking of -5 plus open brackets -17 close brackets. So this tells you that this negative, positive, which is here, is multiplying with this negative. And we know positive times negative, positive, which is here, positive times negative, the answer is always negative. So we're going to say -5, positive times negative, the answer is always negative. So we are going to write -17. Same applies here, positive times negative, the answer is negative. So we're going to write -3. Hence, we have simplified it in this manner. Now we continue evaluating. So, when you look at this now question, the new question we have generated, the signs are the same. We have negative, negative, negative. The signs are the same. And what did we say if the signs are the same? We said to add integers that have the same sign, keep the same sign, and add the numbers. So we're going to keep the sign. Which sign? The negative. So let's keep the negative sign, and we are going to add the numbers 5 plus 17 plus 3. Okay, so what is 5 plus 17 plus 3? That is going to be 25. So we are going to have -25, and you are done. So this is how you work out this kind of equation. The signs are the same. We just we keep the same sign, which is negative, and add the numbers, and we have -25. As simple as that. Then we move on to the next one, C. Okay, so our C is 5 plus, open brackets, -22. Okay, so same scenario here. We have positive times negative. Whenever you see brackets, just know that it is another way of telling you that you need to multiply. Okay, so if you master this concept should be easy now, should be easy to solve. So we are simply saying 5 positive times negative, write 5 there. Positive times negative, we know positive times negative is negative, so it will be -22. Now, in this question, the signs are different. You can see there's a +5. If they don't show any sign, just know it's a positive. So there's a +5 and there's a -22. So what do? You go back to the second statement. To add integers with different signs, keep the sign of the largest number and subtract the smallest number from the largest. So we are going to keep the sign of the largest number, which is negative. We keep the sign of the largest number, which is negative. Then we are going to subtract them. We say 22 minus 5. Okay, we are simply subtracting the smallest number from the largest. 22 minus 5. We maintain the sign of the largest number, and our answer will be 22 minus 5. Now, this should be straightforward now. Okay, which is 17. So we're going to write 17 there. And you can see that your answer is -17. By keeping the sign of a big number, we have -17. So if you forget this negative, my friend, just know that you are wrong. Okay, you cannot get a mark because this is 1 mark in your exam. In paper 1, ECZ examination, this is only 1 mark. Okay, so with this knowledge, I expect you to be able to answer any kind of a question that may be asked in your exam. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I've made integers simple. The next video will be looking at how to multiply and divide integers. How to multiply and divide integers. So with this basic knowledge, I expect you to make sure that you answer every question that comes in your exam without fail. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.